on this episode of The Pulse.
Learn about Sacred Heart's new app that will help students find a tune.
Get to know a former Pulse member who has shined in her career outside of SHU.
And hear about some of the exciting things SHU student athletes are accomplishing. I'm Mia Santinelli.
And I'm Deanna Dracopoulos. These stories and more on Sacred Heart's very own monthly news show.
You're watching the 50th episode of The Pulse.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
In Show 48, we covered a story about students heading over the Atlantic to study abroad in the lovely town of Dingle. This time, we take a look at two students who came from the other side of the Atlantic, Limerick, Ireland, more specifically to study this fall here at Sacred Heart. Robert Finizio has the story.
If you were to drive just 2 hours northwest of Sacred Heart's campus in Dingle, Ireland, you would be met at Mary Immaculate College in Limerick, where juniors Emma Ryan and Neve Conlon have been attending classes before beginning their semester abroad here at Sacred Heart University. Emma and Neve are the first ever students from Mary Immaculate to come here to Sacred Heart. In a fitting fashion, they are pioneers of the program.
So we didn't know that when we first came, and then once we arrived here and had our orientation, they were like, oh, you're the first two. So it's kind of really exciting to be the first two and for it to be going really well for us.
It's been very good. I'm loving it here so far. I love the classes. We are getting on really good with our housemates, good friends, and then I've also family in the area as well.
The initiative to start this relationship began with Dean Michael Alfano of the Isabel Farrington College of Education.
Why Mary Immaculate? Well, Mary Immaculate is really one of 2 or 3 preeminent places in the entire country of Ireland that prepares teachers specifically. Its mission is to prepare teachers. So we knew that if we could partner with Mary Immaculate, they would be doing many of the same sorts of things that we do here at the Farrington College of Education and Human Development around preparing teachers.
Both Dean Alfano and the global ambassadors here worked with Mary Immaculate College, and it has been really smooth coming here. It's really nice to know that they are still caring for us.
Thanks to him that we're here, he was really passionate about it and wants to make sure that we have the best time possible.
Although presented with many options for overseas study abroad programs, there were a few key factors that made Sacred Heart a viable candidate.
It's a very busy campus. There's so much going on, so many sports, performing arts, there's a lot to do.
It also again has many sports. We're very sporty at home, and it has the gym, it has the football pitch, it has the soccer pitch, and then we also saw that the ice hockey was going up as well. So
also, I suppose the media presence was huge at Sacred Heart, following their TikTok and their Instagram. It kind of showed you it's a lively campus, which made it easier to settle in, to think about it that way.
Frankly, for many European students, they're very interested in coming to the United States as an experience, an exchange experience. I think those two things, our story, our presence on the social media sites, but also the ability to come to the United States. Our higher education system in this country is top notch. And I think when they were doing the math, so to speak, on where to go, I think it resonated with them both.
One intangible of any study abroad program is the birth of new friendships. And for Neve and Emma, this couldn't be more prevalent.
Me and Emma didn't know each other before we came. We met once over the summer.
I could have sworn they've known each other since they were young. When they told me that they had just met at the airport back in August when I had first met them, they're like, yeah, I just met her yesterday. What? I could have sworn that relationship has been building for years.
Those two are a remarkable story. I think they had coffee, right before, that's the first time they met, right before they left. But it's an actual perfect example of what I was talking about in terms of how powerful this experience can be.
In its infancy, this is the beginning of a long relationship between the two universities.
I don't think anyone has ever gone abroad and said, I regret it. It's a good learning experience about yourself, and you kind of learn a lot in the process.
Upon their trip home in December, Emma and Neve will not only be able to tell their classmates about an immersive experience in education studies, but also about their newfound friendship. From Fairfield, Connecticut, this is Robert Finizio, reporting for The Pulse.
Division I athletics acquire substantial funding and attention from the university. But did you know that student athletes perform more community service than the typical college student? I met with some of the members of SAAC to learn how the athletics department fulfills their mission of service.
It's the season of giving, and Sacred Heart University has embraced this time of the year by continuing to serve their community.
SAAC is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. That's what it stands for. Students become members. They're either chosen by their coaches, their peers. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the best player on the team, more or less someone that's very driven, very outspoken, likes to see things on campus happening.
We're kind of just like a voice for athletes to kind of get their voices to the NCAA. So at the Sacred Heart level, we kind of like run community service events, and then there's the NEC level, which is like working on things at a conference, and then NEC representatives actually go to the NCAA, and they are the ones who like kind of like stand up for our rights and what we want.
Sacred Heart has 33 Division I teams, and a few players from each program are selected to participate in this organization. Together, they collaborate on both on and off-campus initiatives with a strong focus on community service.
I've always been passionate about community service and giving back to ones who came before us or ones that are in our community, so that's really where that drive and passion came to work with SAAC here.
I love the idea of community service and giving back, being able to run events on campus. We have so many teams with Sacred Heart, and so we really do need all the help that we can get. So I'm able to take on some of that load and like create events.
SAAC will be giving back throughout November, starting with the NEC Canned Food Drive. It's a competition between all the Northeast Conference schools to see who can raise the most donations, which will then help each of their local communities during the holiday season. Athletics is not the only department involved in the food drive, but they are leading the charge and working together to increase turnouts at the games and donations in the bins around the Pitt Center.
So it's our biggest initiative of the fall semester, and we collect as many cans as we can. The way that Sacred Heart is doing it, we are actually charging canned goods to enter some of the athletic events.
From November 7th through 13th, there were several home games for Sacred Heart where athletic teams went to show their support, and their SAAC representatives helped collect canned goods at the entrance.
And what we're doing is we've teamed up with Annie Wendell and the Office of Volunteer Programs, and they're going to be donating the cans that we raise and the money that we raise into their interfaith service back to the community around Bridgeport and Fairfield.
On the last day of the food drive week, SAAC hosted the Ending Hunger Games, which is a water pong tournament for student athletes to celebrate their contributions to the community and their efforts to end hunger in the surrounding areas. SAAC has implemented other initiatives this fall, such as the Gift of Life program.
Also gotten involved with a bone marrow registry where student athletes can do a swabbing of the cheek to see if they're a match for people that need bone marrow for life-saving illnesses.
Looking towards the spring semester, SAAC will carry on with their Team Impact players, as well as a variety of other service opportunities.
Team Impact places students within Fairfield County, within Connecticut, that have life-threatening illnesses to teams on Sacred Heart as part of their roster. So they become a member of the team, they get to go to practices, they get to be a part of team events, they come to games. So it's really cool for those kids and those families to be a part of that, and for Sacred Heart Athletics as well to be involved in that aspect.
SAAC is all about giving back to the community and pursuing initiatives that student athletes find important. And this is just one of the organizations on campus that have found ways to give back to the school that gives them so much. For The Pulse, I'm Mia Sansanelli, Fairfield, Connecticut.
The temperature has dropped here in New England, and the holiday season is just around the corner. As Thanksgiving is just a few days away, I took a trip to Silverman's Farm, a local favorite during the season, to see what they have to offer. Just 2.5 miles north of exit 46 on the Merritt Parkway, in the southern Connecticut town of Easton, you will find Silverman's Farm, a local favorite not only during the fall season, but all year long. Back in the early 1920s, Silverman's Farm was the vision of this man, Ben Silverman. His son Irv Silverman has spent his entire life working at what was once his father's farm.
Well, my dad started the farm in the 1920s, so we're just a little over 100 years old. It used to be just a vegetable and fruit farm. Now we call it agritourism, because we have an animal farm, we have pick your own apples, pick your own blueberries and raspberries. So it's kind of a fun place to go to.
Kids and adults of all ages love to visit Silverman's rustic animal farm. Here you can see, pet, and feed all sorts of animals we all know and love. You may even see some unusual animals, including llamas, alpacas, sheep, and goats. If you're up for a scenic activity, you can hop in a tractor ride up to the orchard for an amazing view of New England foliage during the fall. Just below the orchard is a pumpkin patch, where you will find a variety of pumpkins to choose from. There are many fun activities at Silverman's Farm, but perhaps no one has a better time than Mr. Silverman himself.
You know, I'm very lucky because I enjoy just going to work every day. And, you know, as the seasons change from spring to Christmas time, it's always something different. And I kind of say I'm a people person, that I just enjoy being with customers.
How are you? Good, how are you? Good. Beautiful day.
Once you are done checking out all the activities the farm has to offer, you can go visit Silverman's Country Market. It is full of everything you need for Thanksgiving treats, from fruits and vegetables to jams and jellies, condiments, and of course, pies. The farm market is always stocked with up to 16 varieties of Silverman's famous fresh-baked pies. You can also purchase freshly picked apples and find many different options, from Golden Delicious to Macintosh and many more. Perfect for baking fresh apple pies. You can find many other fall favorites, like apple cider, Silverman's famous apple cider donuts, and many other baked goods. You will be sure to find a sweet treat to share with your friends and family during the holiday season. Silverman's Farm offers many activities that will keep you more than satisfied for the rest of the fall season and beyond. The farm is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For The Pulse, Deanna Dracopoulos, Easton, Connecticut. After the break, get a look inside different club sports programs at SHU.
And later, learn about an unsung hero in the pioneer sports world.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Sacred Heart and Pulse alumni Tykera Carter was recently honored right here in the School of Communication, Media, and the Arts. Michelle Rosen and Carly Strummel shine a spotlight on Tykera and all her accomplishments thus far in the media field.
Tykera Carter, a Sacred Heart alumni who graduated in 2017, was recently awarded the first Young Alumnus Award by the SHU Sports Communication and Media Program. Tykera spent her time at SHU studying sports communications as well as playing on the Division I basketball team through her 4 years. As Ty has entered the real world, she has made strides in her career in a lot of different areas. She attests a lot of this success to her experience at Sacred Heart.
Wow, Sacred Heart has been so instrumental in my growth as a young woman and getting to this point in my career for many reasons. First of all, when I went to Sacred Heart, it was completely new for me, outside of my comfort zone. I knew nothing about Connecticut, and it made me adapt to an environment that helped mold me and also elevate myself as a student athlete. So of course I went there for basketball specifically.
Since graduating, Ty has had multiple jobs leading up to her current position as Associate Manager, WNBA Social and Digital Publisher. She has also had experience working as a freelance sports reporter. She was a color commentator for places such as Howard University, the NBA G League, and even the Northeast Conference, broadcasting some games for the team that she used to play for. Tykera's head coach from SHU, Jessica Minetti, comments on how exciting it has been to see Ty strive in her career.
There's no more proud moment than to watch somebody get to live their dream and know that you got to play just this tiny, small part of it that allowed them to have the opportunity, right? I can always place someone in a position of opportunity and say, here's your scholarship and this is what's available to you. But to watch Ty be able to take that opportunity and run with it and position herself as a young woman and as somebody that wants to make her mark and now be able to get to do that has been such an unbelievable moment for me to witness as a fan.
While Coach Minetti was a mentor for Tykera to learn from on the court, she was lucky enough to also be surrounded by other people that helped her build her knowledge for her career path. She loved how Sacred Heart's small class sizes allowed for her to make personal connections with her professors. One professor she specifically mentions that helped prepare her for her career outside of Sacred Heart was Professor Joe Alicastro.
Professor Joe Alicastro, he's one person who I will never forget because of how he loves his students, but how he was also a teacher and a molder in a sense where when you're learning about broadcasting and communications, he's breaking it down in a way where you feel like you're a part of it through his learnings and his earnings throughout the years.
The Young Alumnus Award that Takira was granted was created to acknowledge the success of a young alumni in the sports communication field. Through Ty's hard work, she has been a prime example to show how achievement is in reach for Sacred Heart students as long as you take advantage of your opportunities and resources.
I felt so honored. Anytime you can be the first to do something, there will never be another first to win the Young Alumnus Award. So when Professor Miller, called me and was telling me like, hey, we're working out the kinks and stuff, but there's no better fit for it than you. He doesn't understand how much that meant to me, especially because, like I said, I don't feel like I've had a big break. I still feel like I'm working, but it also put into perspective that the people around me and the people who have helped work with me and molded me and have believed in me and helped giving me different opportunities have seen my growth, and they want to acknowledge that growth. And so in turn, it made me look back and say, you know what, you are really doing a good job. And
For the Pulse, Carly Strummel, Fairfield, Connecticut.
The Sacred Heart women's volleyball team just concluded the 2022 season with a loss in the NEC playoffs. It was a memorable season for the Pioneers, and what makes this season special is that it was the last one for captains Sarah Cizik, Regan Palanchi, and Emma Smallcombe. Brendan Capozzi has the story about these three Pioneer legends.
Sacred Heart's women's volleyball team is counting down the days to the NEC tournament, in which they are hoping to win the NEC conference title. After successful runs in 2019 and 2021, they are looking for their first ever three-peat.
That'll be unique. I think it's such a cool experience that it's not going to be the same as the last two. We get to do it at home, so if we're able to pull it off one more year, it's going to be on our home court.
This season means more than an NEC title, as it is the last year Sarah Cizik, Regan Palanchi, and Emma Smallcombe will be on the court together. This trio was the cornerstone to the Pioneers' dominance in the Northeast Conference.
I think at this point it's comfortable. We don't know how to play volleyball at this point without each other because it's just the new normal, so it's been really fun.
So I feel like we're always on the same page. We barely have to communicate. We just look at each other, and it's just so comfortable that our competitiveness, and we just know what to do when we're on the court together.
Their leadership has resulted in Sacred Heart producing star players for the future. Sophomore Cameron Lugenbuehl has been a breakout starter this season, as she leads a team of over 200 kills. She credits her success to the leadership she has gotten from the three captains.
They've been probably the best leaders I've had. They hold everyone accountable. Especially Regan, I go to Regan for a lot. Sarah is very, to the point, and she has to be. Emma's also someone I can go to for a lot of things, and so I think just the three of them have a great dynamic with each other, and they all have different areas of expertise when it comes to leadership.
Head coach Rob Machin has been a huge mentor to these women and hopes their last season comes to a magical end.
Well, they're champions. They're just champions, and they're used to success. They demand it from their teammates. Like I said, probably one of the difficult things with young players coming in is the expectations of the program. Those women set the bar so high that it can be difficult, but the way the young ones kind of stepped in and did what they're supposed to do, just fantastic. We try not to focus on anything except for the game in front of us. That's kind of been what we do all year long. Again, if we worry about what we're doing, don't worry about the opponent, what game it is, how it matters, and just do our job, we have a great chance for success.
As their careers at Sacred Heart are ending, Sarah, Regan, and Emma are happy with the legacy they are leaving behind.
Definitely want to go 4 for 4 on rings, and I think the structure and dynamic of the team that has been created since my freshman year, I would like for that to carry on into the future, and that the future leaders also take responsibility for the structure and team dynamic that we've created.
It's just definitely getting Sacred Heart more well known, and not only big schools can compete at a high level, and just keep improving.
Putting Sacred Heart on the map and really elevating the name of Sacred Heart in the volleyball community. I think we've done that so far, and we have another chance to really solidify our legacy.
The trio of Sarah Cizik, Emma Smallcombe, and Regan Palanchi will go down as 3 of the best ever to put on a Pioneers uniform. The team will move forward with another group of talented women ready to go for the 2023 season next fall. For The Pulse, Brendan Capozzi, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Sacred Heart University has 33 Division I sports teams. But as Tommy Marone reports, club sports are equally popular on campus.
People are always wondering how club sports is and how students are enjoying it.
I think students generally feel great about it. I mean, we're very accepting of all ranges of background, as far as like whether it be a novice student that has never played a sport before, as well as experienced students that could play potentially Division II, Division III somewhere, or could be a Division I athlete that just wants a lower time commitment. With club sports, we offer a lower time commitment in addition to obviously the competitive aspect of it, playing at other universities. So they're able to only practice and play 4 to 6 hours a week, in addition to playing against other universities. So it really allows a student, as we put it, to play for the love of the game and have an opportunity to play at the next level in college.
When incoming freshmen come to Sacred Heart, they are always wondering how they should join intramural or club sports.
We want them to know that this is a place to come, to be involved, that as we recruit and we talk to different students, that we want them to come here knowing that we put a lot of effort into what our club sports department is. We're very unique in how we run things. We run our program like it's Division III NCAA program, but in addition to it, we want to make sure students know that again, we accept all different wide variety of experiences, as far as novice to experienced, but also allowing people to stay that competitive edge. You want to go to college and play a sport that you love, and Sacred Heart offers so many different things here on campus. Then we want them to be able to come and play a sport they grew up loving at a lower time commitment, so they're able to be a college student. They can join different clubs, organizations, fraternities, sororities, whatever it might be, in addition to still playing a sport that they love, getting involved, meeting new people, and having the best 4 years of their lives.
Intramural sports are another very important area where students can get involved with Sacred Heart. Alex, who is the president of Intramural Sports, explains.
Well, the intramural program really gets students involved here at Sacred Heart. I think we have 15 flag football teams that show up, each of them with 8 players or more. Usually they come in groups of friends or fraternities and sororities. It's co-ed, so they play each other a lot, and everybody gets to meet new people, get active on campus, and even people that don't have teams are put onto a free agent team, and they get to mingle a little more with kids that they never knew before, like inspire teamwork and learn to work together in different ways, even though they just met each other. And honestly, they have a really good impact, I believe.
For the Pulse, Tommy Marone, Fairfield.
Now we're going to turn it over to our very own Kenley Pierre for a Sacred Heart Sports Roundup.
On this week's Sports Roundup, the Sacred Heart football team has had a tough season thus far, having gone on a 3-game losing streak up until their recent win against Wagner. Over the weekend, the Pioneer season came to a sad end, with their final game of their season resulting into a loss to LIU. The Sacred Heart men's basketball team were picked to finish second in the NAC during the preseason polls, and hope to dance their way into the NCAA tournament this March. On another positive note, the SHU men's hockey team has hit this ice hard to begin their season. They've been able to defeat several solid teams and are looking to continue with big wins, playing in the incredible Metairie Family Arena in January. The Sacred Heart men's Division I team will not be the only skaters using the arena, but the men's club ice hockey team will also get to use it. I spoke with club captain Mark Unfickle about the excitement of the new addition. The Sacred Heart men's D1 team will not be the only skaters using the Family Metairie Arena, but the men's club ice hockey team will also get to use it. Club captain Mark Garfinkel can't wait.
Coming in new arena, I'm expecting it to be state of the art. I'm expecting it, being close to campus, to bring a lot of new students coming to watch hockey games and a bigger crowd, so that should be fun. Being a senior, I expect to be in a leader position, helping out the underclassmen on the ice, also off the ice, with school if they need. And with my play, I expect to, being a defenseman, still jumping in the play, trying to score, trying to help the team out as much as I can, being offensive.
Drew Galea is a longtime friend and 4-year teammate of Mark.
He's been a great role model for a lot of the underclassmen. He's kind of showing them the ropes, showing them what they need to do in practice and acting the right way, and he's done a great job all year so far. I think this is probably our most skilled team that we've had since I've been here. This is my 4th year here, so with all that skill that we have, we just kind of need to put things together, and I think we have a real good shot this year.
With the new arena on campus, I think it's going to be great for the program. I think it's going to bring a lot more students that play hockey to the school. I think it's going to bring a lot better players to the school. So I think it's overall a very positive thing for the school and program.
The club hockey team is hoping to recover from last year's playoff loss and have a great season in their new home. For the Pulse, Kenley Pierre, Fairfield.
With our sports teams always in the spotlight, you don't typically hear about the people that work behind the scenes. Tavares Tuck is one unsung hero that makes shoe sports so special. Micah Brantley has the story.
When you think about Sacred Heart and its university and Sacred Heart sports, you never think about the people who are behind the scenes. And one of those people who are behind the scenes is Tavares Tuck. Tavares has been working at Sacred Heart for 17 years and has helped out in so many ways. At first, he was a custodian, and now he helps out with Sacred Heart Sports. It is 33 sports here at Sacred Heart, and Tavares is behind the scenes of each and every one of them.
I get up in the morning early just to know that I'm coming here to athletics right now. I love everything I'm doing. Never had a chance to go to college, so to give back to some of these kids that is going to college, that's like me being in college. My next goal is to grow here, man. I like the area I'm in. I like the people I'm around. I like the coaches. I would like to grow even more. Hopefully, right now my kids could come here and do the same that I'm doing.
For the Post, this is Micah Brantley, Fairfield, Connecticut.
When we return, take a trip to a special bookstore that is only a few minutes down the road.
And learn about what the Untitled Othello project is all about.
We'll be right back.
The next 4 years will educate your mind, body, and spirit. Will challenge you. Will introduce you to yourself. They'll show you the world and expand your horizons. Redefine your notion of community and make your family a whole lot bigger. They'll push you to your limits and then show you that that was just your starting line. They'll teach you the meaning of service, that we are because of who we all are. These next 4 years are your time. Welcome to Sacred Heart. Welcome to your future.
Welcome back to The Pulse.
In our neighboring town of Trumbull, Connecticut, you will find a very special bookstore. Next Chapter Books is where students with disabilities learn the culture of running a business. Here's Kyle Brennan with the story.
In March of 2022, Next Chapter Books opened to the Trumbull community. The bookstore is a place where students with disabilities work and learn the culture of business under their LEAP program, educating learners in a professional environment. The intent of this bookstore was not only for the students to have a place to learn work skills, but for the community to have a place to come together. John Roble is the program manager for the LEAP program.
What's our culture? So first off, I'll say, welcome to Next Chapter Books. We're here in Trumbull Center, NCB for short. I think what best explains our culture is our tagline, meet me at NCB. So that has a lot of different layers that we can peel away. First of all, we want the community to feel that this is a place where they can meet up with each other, come in and feel welcome, and really see this as a full-service bookstore. So that's one aspect of Meet Me at NCB. Another aspect of Meet Me at NCB is we have students working here as an employability experience who are members of our district elite program, educating learners in transitional environments, and they're learning how to be workers, how to be productive workers in the community, and this is one of our premier employability work sites for the students.
Marco Huang, who is a senior from Trumbull High School, is one of the students working at the Next Chapter under their LEAP program.
About NCB and about what it feels like to be here?
Like, we look for someone to adult volunteers.
Adult volunteers? Do you enjoy working with the adult volunteers?
It's like the college students.
Especially the college students.
They think they're not available.
Well, they'll be, you're thinking of the holidays coming up and college students perhaps being more available to help out.
Yes.
But Marco values being able to work with individuals that are his age, that at the moment are off at college.
At the moment now, they think they're not available now.
Right, well that's
but when they come home, they will.
But I think Marco is speaking to again, how much he values working side by side with individuals that aren't in the elite program but are still representatives of the Trumbull community.
That's
So
just
again,
the same
that
age
speaks,
as me.
that are the same age or close to the
But
same
they
age.
went to college.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
they're coming home in 2 weeks.
And you'll meet up with them here as co-workers or as customers.
Yes.
Yeah, good. That's good. I like that.
For those who love to read, feel free to stop by the Next Chapter Books. Reporting from Trumbull for the Pulse, this is Carol Brennan.
William Shakespeare is known as the greatest writer in the English language, but the cast and creators of his play Othello have a lot to say about the offensive themes in his work. Jillian Reese and Jessica Fontaine have the story about the Untitled Othello project.
The Untitled Othello project is a collaboration between director and project creator Keith Hamilton Cobb and the ensemble of Shakespeare's play Othello. They took a residency at Sacred Heart and discussed topics in the play, such as racism and misogyny.
Untitled Othello is a project to interrogate the text in what I would call a humanities lab. There are scholars in Shakespeare studies who have said, really, this play should not be performed anymore. The weight of the structural racism on the play is pretty enormous. Just the production history. It was originally written by, dominant white male writer, written for white actors to play in blackface. But Keith is a devoted Shakespearean actor, and he really wanted to interrogate the play.
Well, if you had the opportunity to do Othello or make Othello, either as an actor or a director, what would you make? And the answer to that question immediately is, well, it wouldn't just be me. To do it right, you have to engage the agency of the entire ensemble, the entire core cast of actors who create this tragedy, because it's not Othello's tragedy, it's everybody's tragedy.
We are testing out whether we can participate in this play in a way that isn't harmful to the people who are in it and the people who are watching it. With the Me Too movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, going further back to civil rights movement and the suffrage era, we really have to look at these texts that we've been carrying on and, replaying.
It's been enlightening to see what kinds of prejudices that Shakespeare took on as an author, even while he was trying to be a very subversive writer for his time, that we really, in order to be mindful of that, have to engage and sometimes confront.
Theater is a place where we can, as a society, come together and cathart. In this social climate, there's a lot of healing that we need to do, and that's why a project like this is important.
We don't have, a majority population of students of color, so centering that conversation and their voices is really important.
For The Pulse, this is Jessica Fontaine and Jillian Reese, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Sacred Heart brings a new tune to music education with a brand new app called Notey's World. It is expected to be released in the App Store this winter. Ali Pito and Carissa Munoz got the story.
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, a tune many are familiar with. For students learning how to play an instrument, this simple nursery rhyme can act as a stepping stone into music education. This winter, students can use this tune and others to learn notes, scales, and role-playing through Notey's World, an upcoming music instruction app created by Mac Gergich and Sacred Heart University students, alumni, and professors in the Game Development and Design program.
We were approached by a client. We're working with another company on this project. It's led by Mac. He's a famous Slovenian guitarist. He approached us with this idea of a game, an educational music app for middle schoolers to teach them various music concepts. And the idea was about this character, Notey. His job is to save his world from corruption with the premise of saving it one note at a time.
Professors within the School of Computer Science and Engineering secured a grant to work with Notey Inc., a game developer based out of Los Angeles. Programmers got the chance to visit campus to pitch different mini-games that students could develop.
So we initially met with them. They came here for a few days, and we sat down with them, and we brainstormed a bunch of different concepts. And then from those ideas, we developed them into prototypes. So we came up with 3 ideas. One was the RPG game. We also developed the puzzle idea, and we also developed a stealth game idea.
This initiative allowed SHU students to have real-world experience in the game design world before graduating.
Some students took it as their internship. Other students took it as their senior project. We've also offered it as an elective, as another course, to try to bring together different levels of students, from sophomores to seniors. They finally, they have a game credit to their name, which you absolutely need to have if you want to go out in the real world. Employers are going to look on your resume. Do you have at least one launched game to your name, right? And this is an opportunity for students to do that while they're still in school.
Students like Nilo Leva, who worked on the app, benefited from this experience on a career front. He mentioned his gratitude to the professors and noted how he had never had to make an entire game from scratch, and being able to have a finished product was a nice experience to have. The Game Design and Development Program is excited to release Notey's World to the App Store in several weeks. No matter what a person's musical background is, Notey will be available to you. Notey Inc.'s mission is to popularize music through an approachable game and to bring fun back into music education.
I think even if you're not a musician and you've never played an instrument before, you can use this as an opportunity to learn for the first time something in a really fun and enjoyable way.
Play the game, master the music is the company's catchphrase, and for students up to the challenge, Notey's World might just become music to their ears. For The Pulse, Carissa Munoz
and Ali Pito, Fairfield, Connecticut.
In honor of our 50th show, we have an extra special story for our very own Professor Alicastro.
Some senior producers, both past and present, shared how he left an impact both on an academic and personal level.
Congratulations on your 50th show. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for me, Alicastro. I started at The Pulse as a senior producer, and you gave me all the confidence in the world to be able to do what I do now. And I just know that everything you've taught me is going to take me into my future, and I'm only going to go up from here, and it's all because of you. So I really appreciate everything you've done, and here's to 50 more.
Professor Alicastro is someone that I've really cherished my relationship with over the past year at Sacred Heart. He's been a professor that I've really been able to develop a bond with, and someone that really cares about me as a student in class and also outside of class. I mean, he comes to my basketball games and gets super rowdy in the stands, but also is just someone I can talk to when I'm having a bad day. So I really appreciate Professor Alicastro and everything he's done for me as I've been a student at Sacred Heart.
Hey, this is Shane down in Orlando, Florida, and I just have to say that it truly was an honor to work with Professor Alicastro because I was able to take everything that I had learned from him, whether it was in the studio or in the control room or in the classroom. I took all that down with me to the Disney parks where I am now a photographer.
When I first met Professor Alicastro, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And then he became my advisor and really helped me figure out what I wanted to do, and has given me so many opportunities to grow my skill set through the Pulse. And I would not be the person I am today without him. He truly leaves an impact on every student that he works with, and the Pulse has come such a long way because of him. So Professor Alicastro, thank you so much, and happy 50 shows.
Big thank you to Professor Alicastro, and congrats on show number 50 for The Pulse. The Pulse really taught me how to think as a producer, and without your dedication as a professor, it would have been a whole lot harder to land my job as a video producer for the FDA. Thank you so much.
It has been such an honor and a privilege to work closely with Professor Alicastro. Starting as a student, I knew I had a lot to learn, and he has taught me so much about broadcast journalism, about production, and just so much about myself. He's helped me with decisions about graduate school and about my future career. I am so happy I got to be a senior producer this year and to produce our 50th show. It's an amazing milestone. He is an incredible professor, mentor, and friend, and I'm looking forward to watching many, many more.
Professor Alicastro is hands down the best teacher, mentor, and friend I could have ever had, especially my senior year of school at Sacred Heart. He prepared me so well to walk into a real-world position and job in a newsroom, and I don't think I would have gotten where I am as quickly as I did without all of his help and his guidance. He truly shaped my last year at Sacred Heart and my whole career path moving forward. So I'm so grateful for him and to have him still in my life as a mentor and cheering me on. So thank you for everything you do.
Hi, Professor. It's your one out of the two problem childs here. Asia is here to tell you congratulations. I wanted to reach out and do this video for you so that you know that I am still supporting you, even though I'm not in class with you anymore or in your office once or twice a week. Thank you for everything. Thank you for teaching me what it means to be a good journalist. Thank you for always being a listening ear and being so supportive of me throughout my 5 years that I had you with undergrad and grad school. I miss you a lot. I hope this show is great. I hope it's the best one yet, and I can't wait to see you. Have a great show. Bye.
That's all we have for today.
Thanks for watching and have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm Mia Sansanelli.
And I'm Deanna Dracopoulos. We'll see you next time on The Pulse.